Okay, second edition of Kevin's Corner. And this response is actually to someone who commented on Facebook concerning my original post. So if you want to see what that one talks about, just go ahead and look up Kevin's Corner first edition. But anyway, the question was, can Christians marry the wrong person? And the answer to that is absolutely. Now, when I talk about these things, I can talk about these topics from two perspectives. You have to understand there's several types of audiences when it comes to their interpretation or view or approach towards sex, dating, and relationships. You have a secular view, which does not embrace or include or factor in the Bible or Christian values concerning sex, dating, and relationships. So therefore, I talk about those things from just a straight natural standpoint. But the Christian approach brings in the moral element. It brings in the equally yoked element, meaning that most of the time, Christians believe that if I'm going to marry someone, I would want them to be a Christian first. So if you're asking, can Christians marry the wrong person? There are several factors that would contribute to that. One is the obvious, meaning I'm a full-blown, sold-out Christian. Now, you got to understand, we're not talking about somebody who says, oh, yeah, I believe in Jesus. We're talking about somebody who is a born-again, Bible-believing, church-going Christian. They're going to want to marry someone who has the same belief, passion for Christ as they do. Because if not, it will surface. A problem will surface later on in that relationship. Someone may tolerate you during the dating process and hide under the cloak of isolationism, basically saying, hey, you do you, baby, I do me. I ain't gonna mess with you with your Christianity. Just don't wake me up on Sundays dragging me out to church. And you may say, okay, cool, I'll let that slide, and maybe later on this person will come around. But it has a strange way of changing later on if you decide to get married, where that person now becomes more aggressive towards your decision to go to church. So he's waking up and, you getting up to go to church. So you got to go to church again, huh? What's up? You and the preacher involved, huh? Yeah, I know what's going on. And you wondering, where is this coming from? So the guidelines for someone who is not a Christian versus someone who is a Christian is totally different. Even during the dating process, that is different, because there are some things that a Christian would say, nah, I don't think we should do. And other things that people who aren't Christians would say, I don't see what the problem is. So that's the number one issue. But then the second issue is Christians can be unequally yoked as well. If you and the person that you meet, just because somebody says, well, I'm a Christian too, you can't just jump the gun and say, well, that's all I need to hear. I mean, you have to ask yourself, how long has this person been a Christian? Are they a babe in Christ? If that person just got out the baptismal pool and you grab them and they still wet and you drag them to the altar talking about let's get married, it's like a full grown-up dating a teenager. See, when you are a Christian, there is ages in that too. So just like you're born as a child, if you're born as a Christian, you come in as a babe in Christ and then you mature over time. So if someone's been in Christ for 15 years and then somebody been in Christ for 15 minutes, they are on two totally different levels. Their understanding of the Bible, their understanding of the doctrine, and they need time to actually fall in love with Christ, with the church, and so on and so forth before they fall in love with someone else. Because if not, the bonding process will be divided between them falling in love with Jesus and falling in love with you. So that is also something that you have to consider when you're a Christian and you say, well, he's a Christian or she's a Christian. What's the problem? But then there's another factor. And that last factor is timing. Just because someone is a Christian, you have to, and this applies whether you're a Christian or not. When you meet someone, you have to look at the timing. Where are you in your life and where are they in their life? If you and him are in college and you're looking at 3 more years of college before you can even decide to get married, if you chose to, that's a problem. That's a lot of water to go under the bridge dating and trying to practice Christian beliefs as far as the no fornication and so on and so forth. 3 years of heavy dating, and you're in no position to actually move towards marriage if the flesh rises up, which it will. You're kind of setting yourself up for failure. And then there's another part of timing as well. Where are you at in your career? Where are they at in their career? If this guy, even though he might be a Christian, still living with pops, still living with mom, and cannot move out and take care of you, if you decide, hey, we both burning in the flesh, let's go ahead and marry instead of burning, that could be a problem, because there's 3 main things that would destroy a marriage, and that is lack of money, lack of communication, and lack of sex. These are things that will show up in your marriage, and it will eat it up from the inside out. So when you make that approach towards Christian dating, you have to ask yourself those factors. And then one other that I almost forgot. All forms of Christianity are not the same. There's some differences in doctrines. So unless you have really discussed what do you mean when you say you're a Christian, because some people have a totally different view of what they feel Christianity is. So from a doctrinal standpoint, you both have to be on one accord. If somebody don't even believe in water baptism and you do, that's an issue that you two might will bump heads with. Somebody believes you got to go to church every Sunday, and somebody believes you only go to church on Easter, but yet they say, well, I'm a Christian. That can be a problem. So you have to check in and say, what does that look like in your eyes? What does that mean? And how is it manifested in your behavior to show me that when you say I'm a Christian, me and you are thinking the same thing? So those are just some brief responses to your question. Tisha, I believe. I hope I ain't put you out there, but this response is for you. And stay tuned for either more responses from questions that people put on the page. And do not be shy. Ask whatever. We're all adults, and I have enough, I believe, social skills to address topics without getting, belligerent. So please write comments, ask questions so I can respond. If not, then I will respond by posting the next topic. All right. Thanks for tuning in to Kevin's Corner, which, once again, somehow is my car. I don't know why I do this all the time. I'm always in my car. All right. Talk to you soon.